A lot of Jozo's inspiration comes from my upbringing. My mother was born and raised in Yokohama, Japan, and met my dad there in her 20s when he was stationed there in the Navy. So blending American and Japanese culture was just something that I've always tried to do. From an early age, I joined martial arts, visited my family numerous times in Japan, and just tried to incorporate Japanese traditions into my daily life. At the age of 19, I decided to follow in my father's footsteps and join the Marines. I remember feeling a bit directionless and seeing my friends go off to college and starting their lives and initiating their careers. I just personally didn't feel a calling, I guess. All I really knew at that point in my life was that I wanted to make my family proud, and it felt like joining the military was going to do that. But lo and behold, the universe had other plans. About a month before boot camp, I was at work operating a forklift and crashed. From this crash, I sustained a traumatic injury when the forklift and my foot went head to head. Spoiler alert, my foot lost. This accident put me in the trauma center and ultimately placed me in the hospital for 45 days. I had 16 surgeries and a hell of a lot of sponge baths. Unfortunately, they were only able to save about half of my foot, and becoming a Marine was never going to happen. I think it's important to be real with people, especially when you're struggling, and I was depressed. I was in a very dark place. It was a difficult time because I was dealing with the loss of the life that I had planned. And if you ask any 20-something-year-old, I mean, that shit is pretty stressful. I decided to view this accident as a push towards a new life and decided to pursue medicine. At first as an EMT, transporting patients to and from the hospitals, and 3 years after my accident as an ER tech in the same hospital that treated me. And this was one of the coolest full circle moments of my life because I was now working alongside the same nurses that treated me and cared for me and nursed me back to health. And I was now in a position to be able to do that for others. For the first 4 years in the emergency department, I worked night shift, which is from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And for all of you night shifters out there, you know that around that 3 a.m. witching hour, it can be pretty brutal. So it became kind of a running joke that I would own and operate a coffee business that would provide coffee to the night shift because there were no coffee options at this time. And I wouldn't just provide any coffee, it would be healthy, quality coffee since the break room coffee left a lot to be desired. Now, what's that saying? Every joke has a kernel of truth to it? Yeah, I believe it. I started researching a lot. I found that my favorite coffee shops in the United States, ironically, all brewed in ways that the Japanese had pioneered. What I found is that Japanese coffee is more intentional. It's brewed more slowly and it's lighter, allowing you to really take in and savor the moment. And I loved that. I connected to the Japanese art of brewing coffee in more ways than I could have possibly ever imagined. And the deeper I dove into that, the more I found it to be this poetic blend of my culture, my family, my views on wellness, and my perspectives on life. And I want nothing more than to share this alternative and quite honestly transformative coffee experience with my neighbors and my coworkers, since there aren't any coffee shops in San Diego brewing this way. Working in an emergency room and watching people, both young and old, pass away so suddenly, it shakes away the noise a bit. Life is fragile and it's filled with so many unexpected things. And when you whiz through everything, you never really have time to stop and smell the coffee. And when you brew it right, it smells pretty damn good.